we made it to another week. All right, happy Friday, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and bring out everyone, and we're going to go ahead and get this Friday started. Where is everybody?
Hey.
Hey, happy Friday. We are here
So
for another.
cool.
Hey guys.
Reset mindset, y'all. Looks like Adam's already here. And Maria, hi.
Oh, the chat's coming in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Everybody, I'm so glad everybody made it. I hope everybody had a great week. I know I had a wonderful week. The last week was really calm. This week was a lot more busier, but that's okay. I appreciate all the work and, all the conversations we have. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it to James and see how James's week went. And then we're going to figure out what's going on today.
Yeah, thanks, DJ. Yeah. Happy Friday to everybody. Hey, it was a great week. I had some highs and lows in there, but Darren and I've been really mindful of organization with our schedules and reminding ourselves that we have plenty of time if we stay organized. And it's been helpful. It's really been important, and just some great things. I mean, I'm super excited about today. And as every week, I mean, we're super blessed to have the guests that we have and the show and the team. I just love it every week. So, Darren, what's going on with you, buddy? What's going on?
Oh,
you got mute, buddy. There you go. I said I was already writing a note because you were saying something that already kind of was pulling at my heart. It wasn't just organizing like. I moved my turntables here to give myself a little space for the show and that kind of stuff. But there was like some deeper organization stuff happening this week, I think, for me, and it's really cool. Carl's coming on, Shawn Watkins today. And part of his, what I had put in the promo video was talking about severing the anchors of your past to move forward. And sometimes like the organizational thing, I realize like sometimes I got to throw stuff away or it just is going to get in my way. I'm going to hang on to it for someone else or whatever. Sometimes it's a physical book or some extra things I have. And I just got rid of some of those things this week. And, highs and lows. Definitely. It was my birthday the other day, and that was really cool. The internet, thank you. The internet showed me some love. I got to hang out with Kenny and Maria and Jimmy Jam and Nancy a little bit. And that was super fun. I felt the love. And, today's a tough day. We have putting one of our dogs down today. And so if I mute and bounce, it's because, I'm having a day. And, my family is in that spot today. And so what a great guest to have, DJ, you've met him before, tell us, your experience. He's super cool guy.
Yeah, no, Carl, fantastic guest. The way he speaks, the way he shares, the way he opens up all his experiences, everything he's been through. He's just always been a leader for me, a light in our community. I can't say enough of good things about him. I know he's been through so much. I know a lot of his work has to do with consulting and coaching. He's really into the business culture. Absolutely an aspiring civil rights family law attorney. And of course, when he was on my show, we really talked a little bit about the abuse, addiction, and the depression side component of his life. So I guess we will be diving into a little bit of that, hopefully, as we talk about, today's amazing topic about surviving and rising from the ashes of your past. So let's go ahead and welcome our friend Carl. Here we go. Carl.
Hey. Oh, we got bad audio.
Robot Carl. Mute. Oh, we're having some difficulties. All right, we'll give him a second.
Yep. Doing the robot.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we're not getting you coming through, Carl.
Yeah, we'll give you just a second to.
Might have to see.
Yeah, maybe reset it or something. Hey, Maria, thank you, for the shout out to our little Nolly. He was such an amazing friend. I appreciate the love, and
I think we can go ahead and say hi to the chat.
yeah. That's what I was saying. Maria was mentioning in the
Yeah.
chat, sorry to hear about the dog and, appreciate that.
Is it?
Hey, Adam.
Maybe
We'll see.
we should see maybe if Carl disconnected and came back in with that.
Yeah, let's try that.
We could try that. All right.
Because there we go.
There we go.
You the boot, my friend. Oh, let's see. Let's see if he can.
Looks like we have the force.
Well, let me see.
Dorothy's here.
Hey, yeah. Dorothy. Thanks for coming by.
Adam's here and Maria's here. So cool. And I saw Krista chiming in. Super cool.
Yeah, I don't know who LinkedIn user is. Hello, LinkedIn user. Go ahead and share your name. Thank you, Maria. Let's see. Carl, can you get out of StreamYard and try to jump back in? There we go. He's out of the green room.
Awesome.
Okay. Krista's here. We said hi to Maria.
Why don't I read his writing again while we're getting him back on? I think that's a really cool way to intro.
Yeah, 100%.
And this is just an excerpt from the 14th, I believe, of April of his blog. And I'll just read it while we're getting him up. Are you here? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I had to reset. I don't know what it was. I'm getting a lag.
You sound great now.
I sound great.
You sound real good.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, good. It's storming in New Jersey, so I don't know if that's like it had a lot to do with it or not. So I restarted and we be good to go now. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Carl. Hey, buddy. Just a little happens to all of us, so welcome.
Yes, welcome. Thank you guys for having me. I am humbled as always to be a guest on anybody's anything. I'm just a little old guy, just like to tell my story, but I have intimate relationships with each one of you guys. DJ, we've talked. I've been on your show, The Silver Fox. I love it. And I just recently was on with Jimmy Jam, and we talked about some things, sending prayers up for his wife and the family. And DRoo, we just spent some time. What was it, yesterday? Day before, I think, man, just enjoying each other's company. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's we're miles apart. I mean, I'm on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, man. It was just great to just sit in your presence and just chill, man. Just chill. So I'm forever humble for that.
Very much so. Carl, tell us why do you continue to share your story, and your writings that I took excerpts from really just kind of highlight for me what it felt like for me to rise from the ashes, and why I tell my story. But why do you continue to tell yours, and why do you encourage men to be vulnerable, especially in business?
I tell mine, to go back a little bit to give a quickness of it. I tell mine because I think it's important when we have things that happen to us and we go through different things in our life, and especially as men, we're always, and I know I've ran across some men that said they didn't was raised this way, or their father didn't say those kind of things to them. But I was raised with a dad who said, suck it up, stop crying. Men don't cry. Hold it in. Fell off a bike one time and flipped over the handlebars and just bust my head. So I thought, and he was sitting on the porch watching me ride, and he did not move. He told me, get up, wipe my knee off and get back on the bike. So as he taught me those things, I began to be hardened to a lot of feelings. And I think this is really the what men are going through now, or what they have been going through for the majority of their lives, not being able to tell someone how they really feel, what's really going on, and for the way that they're looked at and stigmatized for sharing that. And in the essence of that, I tell a lot of people, I'm vulnerable, and I preach it and I teach it and I live it first and foremost, because you have to be an example for it to even shine through you. You really have to live what you're talking about. And I'm a proponent of that. And I like to share that because us as men, we need avenues, we need outlets. All the time things going on with us, we want to run to the gym. It's not all the time stuff is going on. We got to go punch the bags. That's not how we. That's not how we should be letting things go from us. And that's why I really thought it was important to do that. And rising from the ashes, I've been through a lot. I remember just growing up, and I was told in my neighborhood in Chicago, a little kid on the corner, drugs, gangs, the whole nine. I used to have the older people tell me, boy, you ain't gonna live to be 25. That was like my death sentence growing up. If we got to be 25 or somebody in the neighborhood got to be 25, it was a jubilee. It was a party. Now, what kind of life was that to live?
And when we always joked about 27, right? Because that's when Pac died. That's when everybody dies, 27, and that people joke about that. And
yes.
It's not funny though. I mean, you lose your friends that way, or you lose your friends in prison in that world, And I appreciate how you never soften the blow of your message. You give it straight, and you're helping define the way I believe men should be willing and able to talk. That the stories like your dad sitting on the porch and being insensitive, the only way to put an end to that, right, is for us to change the way we father our kids, or the way we change ourselves. We put an end to it ourselves and then we say, okay, today is just a day where I'm just going to cry, or like, I'm just going to have to work through whatever it is, depression. I've dealt with depression. I deal with depression, anxiety, a lot of other health things like that. And most of my suffering comes from me not speaking out what's real inside of me. It's me pushing through and doing one more work event, one more tension thing, so that the world feels like we're, I guess, flush or something. It's a lie though. How do you stay balanced in that?
I stay balanced in that because I'm true to who I am. I don't let anybody change. And the thing about it, what you said, DRoo, was so phenomenal for me, because this is who I've always been. Like when I say this is how I've always been, it's not like it was an evolution of me. The exposure of it is because I wasn't so outside the box with it, but it became my therapy. I didn't go to a therapist. I didn't sit down and talk to no one and say, yo, this is what happened to me when I was a kid. That abuse from that turned to me being an alcoholic. I stopped using the term functioning a long time ago, because medically I understand that you can't be an alcoholic and function. It's proven. That's why they have That's why they have driving tests, and they show you how you are, right? So I don't know who put those two terms together to try to smooth out that process, but I stopped using that term. It became muscle memory. I began going places and not remember how I got there. Coming home and the car was parked correctly, I don't remember how I drove home. And that's how far they got. And I had sat on I was in the Army, and I was a tank commander, and I was sitting on my tank one evening. We was out in Fort Ord, California, and we was doing exercises, and everybody was asleep in my unit, and they give tank people get 45 calibers as a sidearm. And I sat on the end of the tank, man. I played Russian roulette. And, I pulled the trigger. I took all the bullets out except for one. And I said, well, if it happened out here, it could be claimed accident. My parents, they can get the insurance. I had it all mapped out, man. I really did. I was just saying my life wasn't worth living. And I pulled the trigger 3 times, and it did not go off. And that let me know right there. That was my incline to know that God had something greater for me in my life, and I had to share it. It was my duty to, and that's what I do now, man.
Every time I hear that, I have to answer back with, hey, I'm really glad you're here. And that's no lie. I have lived the same scenario myself. I wasn't on a tank. I was in a crappy minivan in a parking lot, those were the times when I didn't, pursue the activity, but I've overdosed and been hospitalized and had my heart restarted and all this crap, because of lies, of despair. I didn't know what to do with it. And so thank you for being courageous enough to be here, not telling your story, but to physically be here and to overcome that. I'm really grateful you're here.
Yes, man. Thank you. I am too. It is what it is what it is. And when I say that, I don't say that with the disdain of what it is, but I say that, and why I really share my story is to empower and impact people. I think people take it lightly what difference they make on someone else. I don't really think humanity has really dialed into that. I don't really think that the simplicities of things that we do, someone's at the supermarket, they're ringing your groceries up, they're looking horrible, a smile, a comment, a compliment, a gesture, all of those things that God has given us as things to give out that's free, doesn't cost us anything, but it makes people days. It changes people's lives. It empowers people. It impacts people. The words that you say, they carry a lot of weight. That's why I don't use mince words. I don't throw away words. And if I've said something to you, I've meant what I've said to you. And that's how the importance of changing someone's life is. And that's what it brings about satisfaction in me. No pay. Yes. Do I have to eat? Do I have to do all the fundamental things? Yes. I got to work. I got to pay bills. I got a mortgage. I got car bills. I got the same as every living American does, that is taking care of his family and doing the things that he wants to do. But I tell you right now, if I'm able to impact people, I don't need a paycheck. Because when I impact people and I change people's lives, God changed my life. And in essence, Him changing my life, I've had people come up to me and I didn't have $1 in my pocket. And he's like, you know what? Let me give you this. And they ball up money in my hand and it'd be $100 or $50. And I'd be like, wow, why you give me this? And it's like, it was just laid on my heart to give you that. See, God touches people. When you're doing things for Him, however you believe in Him, whatever you call Him, your higher power, or whatever name that you're giving your God, there's something that is above you that you've got to get that relationship with that will take care of you while you're down here. And that's how I live my life, man.
Yeah, I instantly appreciated that about you, Carl. I mean, when we were on the show together, one of the just coolest things you said was simple terms, and that's your message. Like we were talking about story and how we get wrapped up in the story and how much damage we do to ourselves. And you came right back with, yep, I call that stay out of the narrative. And I really appreciated that about you, and was also you remind me of how valuable it is to let the ego out, just let it go. And, I heard a long time ago, man, ego is just edge God out. And it doesn't matter what you're pointing to in that moment, but the minute you push that out, and I always appreciate that about you, is that something over time that you just continue to work on? Has there ever been mentors in your life that have walked you through that, or situations? What do you point to with those things? Because that's really powerful, man. The simplicity of the message.
It's a mixture of all of those. I mean, when I have mentors, I've had mentors, and you never really know who a mentor is until first, if you want to sort them out and you ask them. Or the way that I was mentored, people came into my life and poured into me. And that is where, so when people ask me all the time, well, who mentored you to this? And the list people just start flowing, because I remember in certain situations at certain points of my life. And that's why I'm so tied up with seasons, because people come into your life for a season. And sometimes we get hung up on, they was so good for me right here, I want to keep them. It wasn't designed for that. People are designed to come in to change your parallel of where you're going. They're done. And I always call that, my grandmother used to call that, and I just carried that for her. She said, those are angels on assignment. So when you get out of pocket or out of place or whatever, you've noticed it. Even when you go back over your life and start thinking of places where you was and someone said something to you, or someone offered something to you, or they were able to help you out. That's what she would tell me. Those are angels on assignment. They're making sure that you stay on the road and that you're doing the things that you want. And even down that night, and I never said this before, like really openly, but after I pulled the trigger the third time on the gun that didn't fire, the bullet was in the chamber. So it was there to fire, but it didn't come out. And the gun didn't jam, it clicked like it's supposed to shoot. So you look at those things and you said, what am I here for? At that point in time, I started doing a searching and inventory. Okay, yes, Carl. Yeah, she was abused as a kid. Okay, we got that. Okay, you turned alcohol and you just became an all-out alcoholic. Okay, we got that. Okay, you was depressed, tried to kill yourself. We got. Okay, now you're still here. Now what? That's really becoming my message. Now what?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why when I go into vulnerability, I tell people off the bat, no, it's not a pity party. It's not a pity party. I'm not here to dump on you. I'm not on here to tell you all my bad news. That's not how I use vulnerability. I use it strategically and I use it intentionally. And if anybody hear me talk, that's what I say, because I bring that up in order to give space to those who need to talk. And I also bring that up, especially in business, for those who need a platform to be creative, innovative, and spread their wings. Because if a vulnerable space is not there, you put the lid on a lot of growth in people, in businesses, relationships. You know, you go down the line and count it out, and you see how many things are destroyed when we're not vulnerable with each other.
You know, Carl, in your writing that I mentioned again when you were kind of bouncing on and off, we were getting the audio.
Mm-hmm.
James and I were talking about organization and severing the ties of our past.
Yes.
And part of that getting better, you know, one thing that has come to mind as you were talking was how in my past, I have held on to things way too long, way too hard, especially in business, almost always in business, because of that sort of militant. I mean, I was a former Marine for just a short time, but I have that in my head where I just flick the switch on and I don't eat, I don't sleep, I just get it done. There's no option. I just get it done. But you know, that's a lie that I tell myself. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to just go with bolt cutters, cut that thing and just let it go to the bottom of the ocean. That's what I visualize, you know, in severing the ties of your past. There's people, there's money. Maybe you have a bad loan you're in, or like, you know, you like sometimes it's best to just let it go. Dorothy, yes, who's in the comments, you know, she and I speak a lot, and we have this deprocrastination day we do, and we talk about what's hard and what we're not getting done. And she talks about having this like box of receipts, and sometimes, you know, it's best to just, you know, start a new box because you just don't ever get back there. You know, sometimes you just have to let it go, burn it, and move on and feel the consequences because they're your consequences, right?
Yes.
But moving on is more important. How do you do that? How have you moved on? How have you severed those ties in a healthy way?
The healthy way began with me. And a lot of people don't understand that the things that you owe, they only destroy you. That's the equivalent of it. I go back to the scripture and say, you forgive me as the Father forgiving you. How can you expect to grow and move on if you haven't forgiven? So it all begins with you. And that's how that's what people don't really get, that's the empowerment of it. Because a lot of people, well, I'm waiting for them to come back and tell me I'm sorry. Okay. They're living their life. They're doing what they're doing. They're not paying you no attention. And I'm sure they're not having ulcers, sicknesses, or illness, or losing sleep because they did you wrong. Because if they did and the conscience worked on them, they would have came back to you already. You wouldn't have had that discussion. So what I've learned is that I forgive them whether they know it or not, because it works on me. Then the release is there. And once the release is there, you can move forward. But a lot of people are stuck in the spot that they're in, whether it's from that 6-year-old child, such as myself, that was abused. They can't let go, got harmful, hurtful feelings toward the individual that did it. You know, I could have held that. And then where would I be now? I would just be a corrupt old soul if I'd have lived that long, or I would have drank myself to death and crashed and killed families, or the outcomes are tremendous. But it all began when I decided to say, okay, I'm going to let that go. Did it take some work? Absolutely. I won't lie to anyone that said that it didn't. It took some work, but you know what it took? It took me saying yes. That was the work. Because as long as I held on to no, I had every excuse in the book to say no was okay. But when I said yes, it was like the elephant got off my chest. Literally, that's how I felt. And I said, oh, wow. And then from that point, I said, okay, how can I do this better? How can I be better? How can I show someone else this is how it is? How can I show you that releasing it is that? And people say, oh, man, you talk like releasing is easy and releasing is that. It's not. It's not. And I'm not here to tell you that it is. But what I'm here to tell you that you'll feel so much better if you just release. Just I used to tell people a lot of times when I did my classes, and it wasn't really meditation, but I would say that before I really start engaging people. I would say, take a deep breath and tell whoever hurt you, you forgive them. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and tell whatever happened, whoever hurt you, tell them you forgive them. And a lot of people would, my coworkers, they would, like, you would start to see the tears well up. Because it's an emotional drain on you. And that's where you were. That's where a lot of people are. And no, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I live it. I live what I say every day. And every day that I live, it makes me okay. So that's how I do it.
You know, James, this week had hit me with that very statement. And I had an opportunity to sit down with my father, and we were just kind of chilling out and having a walk. But there were some boundary things I needed to get off my chest. And I seem really calm, but you know, I get these weird anger things, and it doesn't show. And then I hold it in and I act, you know, just aggressive or whatever. And this time was different, you know, and I started out by saying, listen, I love you and I forgive you.
There you go.
And this is what for me, doesn't work in our relationship. This part of your behavior at me doesn't work. I love and accept you fully for who you are. That's fine. But this aspect doesn't work for me. And it felt so much different than the past. The first time I've ever done a conversation starting that way, exactly what you were just saying, you know, and this just happened 2 days ago. And I felt good coming into it, and I felt even better coming out. Not like it was an argument, not like I was trying to get something done. It was an open-handed ease about it. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. That forgiveness piece, if we're just handcuffing ourselves there, it's no one else gets to feel that except us most of the time. You know, maybe you're not returning their calls or they don't see you, but that internal non-forgiveness and anger and you know, all the negative energy is all yours. And I'm learning how to get rid of that now I'm 43. I wished I learned that at a younger age, you know. And so it's important for us to keep talking like this.
The key to it, and I often tell people, because people ask me that all the time. What would I'm 54. So they would say, what would your 54-year-old self tell you, 25-year-old self? And I said, nothing. I wouldn't tell them anything. And he's like, oh man, you know so much now, and you this far in life, and I said, no, I wouldn't tell my 25-year-old anything, because what I know at 50, my 25-year-old couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle that. So why would I mess up those years for them coming forward by telling them something that they're not prepared for? See, when I was 25, I was not prepared for what the 50-year-old me knows now, because there was some journey, there was some walk, there was some work to be done. So once I did the work, now I'm happy with that. And I wouldn't go back to say that. A lot of people ask me the same thing about that. What would you change? Wouldn't change anything, because it would change me. And then who would I be? You know, couldn't imagine who I could be without everything that's happened in my life. I could not even just imagine with just my wild imagination on my creative side, what would Shawn Watkins be without those things that happened to him? Like it's sort of like the story. I don't know, you know, telling my age a little bit. It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey. Like, you know, I see it like that. Like, what would my life be without that? He got an opportunity to see that, and I think the people that really have seen that movie don't even gravitate the deepness to the story of what's going on. Here's a man that said he wished he wasn't living, and he got an opportunity to see life without him. And it's a sad thing when you look at it. Now I look back on that gun, and I was sitting on there, man, you about to kill yourself. See how much stuff you missed? So I wouldn't have been married. I wouldn't have any kids. My kids wouldn't have graduated from college. I wouldn't have saw nobody get married. I wouldn't have no grandkid. All of those for lapse in judgment based upon a situation that was passing.
Yeah.
You know, so
just another season. Yeah. No,
season.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. It's incredible. DJ, it looks like we had a super cool chime in there from Dorothy. Could you go back and read that so that
This one?
Yeah, I'd love for everybody to hear that out loud?
Sure, I'll read it out loud. It says, "From the ashes, I rise, sharing my story. Instead of punching bags, I'd rather show you how to cry, how to be fragile. From the ashes, I rise. I want you to live beyond 25. Instead of
Mm.
Russian roulette, I'd rather hold you tight. Open my heart wide. From the ashes, I rise. When I can impact your life, I change my life. However hard it was, many mentors I had. From the ashes, I rise. My angels on assignment, the bullet ready to fire. I am still here. Now what? I want to give you wings."
Wow.
Wow.
Dorothy's on point. Oh
Yeah.
wow, Dorothy, that's kind of like a
Wow.
it's kind of like a choker there, Dorothy.
Yeah, I'm already. Today's one of
We'll
those
drink some
days.
water on that one.
She does that. Just an amazing gift. Beautiful summary of what you stand for, man.
Man. Yeah.
Can't thank you enough for being who you are, being here, and sharing. It's a powerful message, and it touches people. I mean, I don't think people understand that. If we touch one person gets touched by that story, and it just all that encouragement to share, and it just gives so much back. It's incredible.
Yeah, Dorothy, I'm normally not a speechless person. I'm normally not speechless, and I write poetry on the drop of a dime too. And that that's really how I started on LinkedIn, writing one word, and this is really where my writings began. But I think about just what you said, and that is why I rose. That is the reason why I do what I do. I'll never, and I'm always humbled. Um, that word carries my weight, being humble, because I'm no better than anyone else, and I live my life as that. Like people would never know the things I have. I'm not a flashy guy. I don't brag. I don't those things. I wasn't taught those things. I grew up and we didn't have anything. Sometimes we had 2 or 3 pieces of bread, and the neighbor came over, said they needed bread. My mom would give them the bread, and we as kids looking like, "Oh, we don't have any bread," but we were just taught that if someone else needs, you should be there for their needs, and that's how I live. So that's really got me. That's really got me, Dorothy. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the love that people have. Huh?
Let's go ahead and bring Dorothy
Oh,
out.
there we go. There she is. Hi, Dorothy.
Hey, Dorothy.
Hey.
I saw that and I said, man, I got to send her the link. I don't know if she's still up. Carl, I don't know if you know this, but it's like 4 a.m. for her.
Oh, wow.
No, it's midnight.
Midnight.
Not 4 a.m.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Dorothy. I appreciate that. It is for, I don't say I do what I do for people, but you are the reason why. If I can just touch one person, or if one person get what I'm saying, if one person changes their life based upon what I've shown them. A lot of times we have experiences that we share that we think are so moving to people, our education, our job skills, those kind of abilities. We're quick to share those things because we think we're helping someone. But I've always been a man of purpose with soft skills. How are you able to communicate? Are you able to tell me what's going on with you? Are you able to let someone know articulately that this is what's going on with me? And that's what I strive for, even in culture, even in business. That's me. But you get me choked up, Dorothy.
Cool.
Choked up.
Actually, I wrote a second poem that I haven't shared in the comments, so I bet there it is.
Would you read the other? Would you read your first one? It's always best that I'm learning from that the poet reads the poem.
Yes, absolutely.
DJ, you did an amazing job, but I got to hear it from the source.
And I just missed that part because that's when I was connecting on StreamYard, so I just missed that part. So I was hearing my name and I didn't know why, but I assumed. So yes, from the ashes I rise, sharing my story. Instead of punching bags, I'd rather show you how to cry. how to be fragile. From the ashes I rise. I want to live beyond 25, and instead of Russian roulette, I'd rather hold you tight, open my heart wide. From the ashes I rise. When I can impact your life, I change my life. However hard it was, many mentors I had. From the ashes I rise. My angels on assignments, the bullet ready to fire. I'm still here. Now what? I want to give you wings. Thank you very much for that, Carla. I was very touched, and even more so that I just finished writing a poem about silence and how much I love silence and how much it inspires me. Except when it's the silence that we use to stifle stuff, to not say stuff, to hold it in, to, the anger or the tears, and so there was it's kind of like a really great synchronicity there. But I love that you are doing that you are opening this space, especially for men. But I know that it took me 20 years to sort of start speaking about my father's death, because it's something that I guess the sorrow was too hard, so we didn't speak about it in my family. I was a teenager then, so I can understand the importance of speaking up and opening their hearts.
Yeah, we got that in common. It closed. I didn't even know if I mentioned that. My dad passed when I was 15, and I had got. I tell everybody it's still hurtful. Actually, something that was said to me earlier this week, and he came to mind, and he's been dead since 1985, I think. Yeah,
same year as my dad.
And yeah, right. And man, it's a lot, Dorothy. I can't take too much more. It's a lot. Yeah, and it's something that someone said to me, and I blanked. And they were talking, and I went to him, like I went to a conversation that we was having, and the person tapped my arm, and they said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "What?" I was, "Oh my God!" I said, "Oh, I went like daydreaming, standing there talking," and I just remembered the conversation that we had and the time he had, and I had that mixture of his strong foundation and his, because my dad was a man's man, like he was Golden Gloves boxer in the Army, and he got out, and then he was like carpenter builder kind of construction dude. So it's like it wasn't no chump in him. Like he wore the overalls with one clip and the other one hanging off. But like he was the man's man. So I got that foundation from him. But when he passed at 15, I found myself in the transition from that age to going to adulthood without a bridge.
Yeah.
And my mom and my grandmother and my aunt came in. They rotated turns of like pouring into me, and I got the foundation, and I got a little temperament of empathy and sympathy and softness and understanding how to communicate to those that was unfortunate. I got that mixture. So I thank God so much for that, because I don't know. It's just he works out all things well. That point in time, he brought those in, and now I had a bridge. I had the understanding and knowledge of what a man should do, how a man should be, how he should work, how he should take care of his family. I had that, but then on top of that, I had, this is the added part where a man understands how to communicate. He understands how to talk to his partner, to his spouse, to get things done, to be able to raise his children. Those things I got, and they were a bonus. They were a bonus.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for them.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. What a day.
Yeah.
I guess we should get ready for our songs.
Yep. Let's get that song of the week.
Yeah. Let's get songs of the week. Let's absolutely.
I'll go quick. Pink Floyd, Seamus from my boy Nolly. It's I hope you guys listen to it. You'll hear a dog talking a lot in that one.
Oh yeah.
No one's heard this Pink Floyd song either. It isn't like the others.
No.
Pink Floyd, Seamus.
Okay. Good one.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Next, Jimmy James.
This week I'm gonna go with Lenny Kravitz, and I'm gonna go if I could fall in love. that whole anything off the Lenny album, Lenny Kravitz, Lenny. I mean, I told Darren that's the one that I would take if I could only have one CD, if they make those anymore. That would be the one. It's a big deal to me. Really is. Yeah. How about you, Carl? What do you
I
have?
was saying an old classic, man, that I listen to and I pop into my mind all the time. I want to know what love is.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Yeah.
That was one of the first songs that I really started writing my emotionals. Because I used to just write angry stuff in the beginning of journaling, because I had to have an outlet. And then when I started listening to Foreigner and the soft rock of the 80s, and I'll say, oh, I can write this way. And then I start flowing what I write that way. So, yeah, I want to know what love is. That was my turning point song.
That one connects. That one connects for sure.
Wow.
Yep.
Dorothy, you got one this week?
I actually do. I haven't listened to it, but I was reminded of it by today a friend from something like 25 years ago reconnected, and we were in Northern Ireland at the time, and he's had a very difficult time with his father, who's also like a madman, and he was more sensitive as a child. And so there was one song that we would dance on and party on, and I think it's very appropriate because it's Born to Be Alive. So I don't know. I don't know the lyrics. Jimmy Jam is much better with the lyrics than I am. But that song just, it was so vibrant that, it had a lot of joy.
Yeah. Very much.
DJ, what's yours? Close us out.
DJ.
We're on the 42-minute mark. 42-minute mark. I'm going to close it out with a Warriors Call by Volbeat.
Oh, I love that. I saw them in concert on accident. I'd never heard of them. They were amazing.
Too, but they were the opening band to another band. So
yeah. Me too. Man. For Metallica?
Yeah.
No way. We probably same tour. Crazy. Some church pastor invited me to that. And I was like, what? We going to see this? All right.
Yeah.
And I don't, Carl, I don't listen to that kind of metal.
Yeah, I know. You said that. You kind of threw me for a loop there, man. I was like, come on, you sneaking out on me, man.
I did my thing.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dorothy, for stopping by. Carl, thank you so much. DJ, as usual.
Appreciate it, guys.
The team.
Yeah, Adam had a song. He shared a song.
Yeah,
Earth Angel. And I saw old school. I like that.
Adam. I like that.
I saw KDJ showed up as well, and everyone in the chat. I mean,
Rack came through. Maria said she liked her stuff.
Yep. Thanks, Maria. Yep.
So Maria.
Shout out to all the friends that were
all of them.
I guess we'll go ahead and get ready to say our final goodbyes. Now we got our song, we have our guests, we have our surprise with Dorothy and bringing the poetry and
amazing.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Guys.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
I needed this big time.
Best way to spend a Friday night, I tell you.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.